Hello, this is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And today is Sunday, the 16th of July, 2023. And I'm about to start this second canto of Paradiso, the work by Dante that contains Inferno, Purgatorio, which are already online and on YouTube as well. And this is Paradiso, the third one of the Cantiche. That's what they call it, the third book of this great work. Now, I have to admit that I'm finding it difficult, really, to get into Dante's Paradiso, because he's talking about things that are not of this world. They are from, the empyrean, the universe, the world that existed outside of Earth in circular, in circles, as it sort of moved towards the place where God is. Because during the Middle Ages, what happened that the church believed, and everyone else had to believe as well, that the earth was the center of the universe. And therefore Dante's world, he created the Divina, the Paradiso part of the Divina Commedia, of the Commedia as he called it, around this scientific reality, which wasn't scientific at all. It was an imposition by the faith that people had to have in order to reach the majesty of God. And God is right at the top. So there are two things that are happening here. The souls go up from Paradiso Terrestre in Purgatorio, and they go up towards the first circle. There are 8 circles as you go up. And we have to consider that the earth is the center. Okay, so let me read my own little summary of the chapter. This is one of the 8 circles around earth that slowly draws the souls to God. Each one of these circles contains the souls that merit to be there. However, all souls in all the Paradiso world are happy to be where God has placed them in his divine wisdom. So in other words, as we move forward, ciao Frank Mazzacca, thank you for coming on. As we move towards, as you ascend towards God's final resting place, right at the top, the souls sort of stop where they're supposed to be. And Dante, of course, out of his curiosity says, why are you here? Why can't you keep going? He says, well, we are dead now, and we've done what we had to do in life, and we were rewarded with the entrance to Paradiso, to paradise, and therefore we are here and happy, because that's where we deserve to be. Now, on reflection, that's the sort of society that was available to humans during the Middle Ages. In other words, the king, for worldly affairs, represented God on earth, and the Pope represented the spiritual part. Now, the Pope himself, because there were no women popes, the Pope himself had to look after humanity spiritually. However, what happened during the Middle Ages, that they got involved with the material as well. And that's why the Crusades occurred, and there was a lot of violence, and etc., etc. So this second circle, the second circle of Paradiso, really is an eye-opener. I'm going to start, of course, and when I start, I need a drink. Today it's a bit cold here. It's cold, outside as well. And I haven't moved, you get a bit of a cold, but you have to keep going in life. So cheers. And cheers to my son, Andrew. It's his birthday today and he's 44 years old. Oof. That makes me a very young man. Okay, he's my young son too. He's not just, he's not just a son, he's the young one. Okay, so let's start with the summary of Canto 2. All right? Dante warns less spiritually prepared readers not to embark on this heavenward journey. Only those who have been accustomed to feeding on angel bread can safely follow him there. Now, angel bread, remember the word. Dante suggests that those who are not accustomed to studying theology, feeding on angel bread, may find his poems' waters too deep for them to navigate safely. Yet this rhetorical gesture isn't meant to be taken too seriously. Dante intended that the beauty of this language will draw ordinary readers, not just highly educated ones. He simply signals that his poem will deal with lofty subjects that aren't meant solely for entertainment, but for his audience's spiritual betterment as well. This one here, this particular note, I agree with, because what happens with Dante is that really everyone should be able to read him. However, if you haven't done, theology, if you don't know much about what he's writing about, the mythology, the history, etc., you'll find it very hard. So unless but you can always start. I mean, all knowledge starts from not knowing very much at all. It is the journey of knowledge. And what did I say? I called this theology the signs of the divine, pan degli angeli, the signs of the divine. In other words, rational thinking cannot surpass the one of faith. Now, we believe differently now, but in reality, that's still quite true. Because there's a lot more to know about the universe and ourselves and the relationship between all things living and dead and the ones in the spiritual world. It's something that we need to reflect on. Now, Beatrice tells Dante that God has led them to the first star, the moon. A dense shining cloud envelops them. Dante asks Beatrice about the dark markings visible on the moon's surface. On earth, people referred to these as the marks of Cain at the time. We know differently now. Dante suggests that perhaps the markings are due to variations in density on the moon's surface. Beatrice and Dante's journey will take them through the 9 spheres of heaven. They'll encounter different types of souls in each sphere, as well as different types of angels and virtues. Dante's question is an example of his insatiable appetite for knowledge, which is portrayed throughout Paradiso as a noble, God-given human characteristic. Dante refers to Cain as to a piece of folklore which held that Cain, the world's first murderer, as portrayed in the book of Genesis, was banished to the moon. That's why it's got those markings, the shadows on the moon, what we call the face of the moon. Beatrice explains the scientific reason for the varied coloration on the moon's surface. Basically, that each of the heavenly spheres reflects the light of the sun in a different way. and that different parts of the moon reflect that light differently too. Similarly, the human soul diffuses its energies in various ways as needed throughout the human body. Now, again, we are dealing with the trying to explain Dante's vision in Canto 2. And so let's start, okay? So maybe I'll have another little drink before I keep going. Ok. O voi che siete in piccioletta barca, desiderosi d'ascoltar, seguiti dietro al mio legno che cantando varca, tornate a rivederli i vostri liti. Non vi mettete in pelago, che forse perdendo me rimarreste smarriti. Now, what does he say here? He says, piccioletta barca, us who have very little knowledge of the paradiso. It's a picture, you're in a small, you're in a small boat. It says, you want to be attracted to God. In other words, our essence is in our soul, is this movement towards God. It says, but remember, I'm the one who's telling the story of being in Paradiso. So you could, if you don't follow what I say, you could get lost. In other words, follow me because I know I've done it. So I'll try to give you what I remember from it, basically. Now, he says, where does he get his knowledge, Dante? L'acqua che io prendo giammai non si corse, Minerva spira e conducemi Apollo, e 9 muse mi dimostrano l'orse. So, again, a reference to mythology, to Minerva, l'acqua. This is the idea that this aqua, this great need of sapere, of l'acqua che prendo. I take it, I'm inspired by my journey, the great journey that I've undertaken in the afterlife. So I'm telling you that, I have good credentials. Voi altri pochi che drizzaste il collo per tempo al pan degli angeli, del quale vivesi qui, ma non sen vien sotollo, metter potete ben per l'alto sale vostro naviglio, servando mio solco dinanzi all'acqua che ritorna eguale. So here, voi altri, us, che drizzaste, that you want to know more about this movement towards the sky, towards God. You want to, and you're never satisfied with it. You're always in search of trying to get there as much as possible. Metter potete per l'alto sale vostro naviglio, your little boat. I mean, that's what he says we are. You're little boats in the big ocean. All'acqua che ritorna uguale. So in other words, servando mio solco, if you follow me, you'll get to the port that you want to get to. You'll get to know about Paradiso a lot more. But in heaven, practically. Quei gloriosi che passaro al colco non s'ammiraron come voi farete quando Jason vide fatto bifolco. Jasone. I named my first son Jason. Jason the Argonaut. He was when he was looking for the golden fleece. He used a ruse, like the cavallo di Troia. He used he became like a peasant in order to get to what he wanted, and to lead, of course, to lead his men on the journey that he undertook. So again, the need for us to know Greek mythology. Next one. La concreata e perpetua sete del deiforme regno ci importava veloci quasi come il cielo vedete. So now this refers back to the actual journey. La deiforme e perpetua sete, this great knowledge to see God's world was pulling us very fast towards the top. Beatrice in su, so Beatrice was up there, e io in lei guardavo, and I was looking at her, e forse intanto in quanto un quadrel posa e vola e dalla noce si dischiava, giunto mi vidi ove mirabil cosa mi torse il viso a sé, e però quella a cui non poteva mia cura essere ascosa, volta per me si lieta come bella, drizza la mente in Dio grata, mi disse, che n'ha congiunti con la prima stella. So, what does he say here? He's looking around, and the light that's coming from the top is too much for him. Therefore, Beatrice notices she's further up. She says, I know you can't see because the light that comes from the top is ti sta abbagliante. You become like blind to light blindness sort of thing. But she says, drizza la mente in Dio, cioè believe in God, it's okay. Keep coming, don't worry, it'll be fine. You'll get your vision back. Okay. So, che n'ha congiunti con la prima stella. So, la prima stella is right God. And this idea of us moving towards him is a twofold journey. Him towards us with what he needs from us, and we towards him by the acceptance of his teachings, well, what he wants us to know. Sorry, but I have to. So that's where we are. Oh, my crown. These are bay leaves, by the way. This alloro. The alloro is a bay leaf, and the crown represents, of course, the knowledge that that the gods give us in terms of wanting forever. We're always searching for knowledge, and also searching for spiritual greatness in a way. So drizza la mente in Dio, grata, mi disse, che n'ha congiunti con la prima stella, we are together. Parve a me che nube ne coprisse lucida, spessa, solida e pulita, quasi adamante che lo sol ferisse. And it looked to me that this light, la nube, there was this cloud of light. So we were, I think, they had reached the first section of the worldly, the paradise universe. Per entro sé l'eterna Margherita ne ricevette come acqua recepe raggio di luce permanente unita. Per entro sé l'eterna Margherita, per entro sé l'incorruttibile gemma ci ricevette dentro il sé, come l'acqua riceve il raggio luminoso restando compatta. So we were received by this light, by this cloud of light, and made us one with it. S'io era corpo, I was a body, of course, e qui non si concepe come una dimensione altro patio, o patio, altro patio. S'io era corpo, e qui non si concepe come una dimensione altro patio. So I still had my body. Che esser conviene corpo in corpo repe, accendere ne dovria più il desiderio di vedere quella essenza in che si vede come nostra natura e Dio s'unio. So, this nature of us, this desire for acceptance by God in His kingdom, it comes from both our reasoning and our theological standing. So our nature, human nature, has been united to that of God. Lì si vedrà ciò che tenem per fede. So whatever we believe here on earth, you can actually, then that becomes in heaven the actual reality of heaven. Our belief, not the signs. That's why I said it was difficult for me to come to grips with this. Lì si vedrà ciò che tenem per fede, non dimostrato, ma fia per sé noto a guisa del ver primo che l'uomo crede. Io risposi, Madonna, si devoto come essere posso più, ringrazio Lui, lo qual dal mortal mondo m'ha remoto. So Dante says, Beatrice, I'm listening to you and I want to thank God for allowing me to come up here, not understanding Him in its entirety, ma ditemi, so he says, tell me something. Che sono I segni bui di questo corpo? So we are on the moon now, so they've landed on the moon and says, what are all these dark spots here? Isn't heaven supposed to be light everywhere? The same? Since it's God's paradise. So we are here on the moon, but what's going on? There's dark there, and here it's light, and the other one is a bit more dark. What's going on? Ma ditemi che sono I segni bui di questo corpo, che là, giuso in terra, fan di Cain favoleggiare altrui. Now, apparently, Cain killed his brother Abel, and he was the first murderer of humanity. And apparently, he was exiled to the moon. That was the fable in the Middle Ages. That's what they believed, that Cain had, would not be allowed to stay amongst humans. That's why we punish murderers to such great extent, because they really don't belong with humanity. They are taking the life that belongs to God. So how dare they? And that's why over the centuries, murderers have always had, have always been punished incredibly. Well, they used to lose their life straight away. Then, we moved on and said that we give them life sentences, etc. But I don't know. Excuse me. All right. Ma ditemi che sono I segni bui di questo corpo che l'ha giuso in terra fin da Cain favoleggiare altrui. Ella sorrise alquanto e poi, se egli era l'opinione, mi disse, di mortali dove chiave di senso non disserra, certo non ti dovrien pungere gli strali d'ammirazione ormai, poi dietro ai sensi vedi che la ragione ha corte l'ali, vedi che la ragione, the sentiment, reasoning, science, as its wings cut up, they're short, they cannot compete with faith. It cannot compete. So therefore, your belief becomes number one in your search towards eternal life in God's paradise. Ma dimmi quel che tu da te ne pensi. But, she was curious. She says, well, tell me, what do you think? What do you think, Dante? E io, ciò che mi appare qua su diverso credo che fanno i corpi rari e densi. It seems to me that here, you know, I can't see them. I corpi sono rari e densi. So the souls, there are souls there around them, but he can't see them because of the light on his eyes. Ed ella, certo assai vedrai sommerso nel falso il creder tuo, sebbene ascolti l'argomentare che io ti farò avverso. I'm going to prove to you that faith is greater than, you know, the signs that can come from your own reasoning. La sfera ottava, so there are 8 spheres around the earth. La sfera ottava vi dimostra molti lumi, li quali e nel quale e nel quanto notarsi possono di diversi volti. So you can notice here, in the moon, you can see various types of spirits that live there, souls. Se raro e denso ciò facesse tanto, una sola virtù sarebbe in tutti più o meno distribuite altrettanto. So in other words, if their worth, the life journey contained the same patterns, then they would all be the same. But it's not the case. Each one of the circles of these spheres around the earth, as you move up, and there are 8 of them. 8 of them. And I think I mentioned them. There's Luna, there's the moon, Mercury, then there is Venus, then there's the sun, because the sun at the time was not the center of our universe. So it was relegated to one of the spheres. Marte, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Oh my God. Virtù diverse, esse convengono frutti di principi formali, e quei forcuno seguiteriano a tua ragion distrutti. Ancora, se raro fosse di quel bruno cagion che tu dimandi, o dolce in parte fuori di sua materia si digiuno esto pianeta, o siccome comparte lo grasso e il magro un corpo, così questo nel suo volume cangerebbe carte. So this one here, I'm getting something here. So, it says virtù distrutti. So, invece è necessario che le diverse influenze di questi corpi celesti siano effetti di principi informativi diversi, ma questi molteplici principi informativi, secondo il tuo ragionamento, sarebbero annullati di conseguenza, tranne quello della densità forcun. So in other words, if it was all the same, this paradiso was all the same, then according to your reasoning, everything would be the same. There would be no difference at all. But there is. That's what she says. Even in faith, there is. Se il primo fosse fora manifesto nell'eclissi del Sol per trasparire lo lume come in altro raro ingesto, so she's referring now to the light that is available in the heavens. La seconda parte della confutazione basata su osservazione empirica introdotta da questo avverbio. So there's a big note here relating to this particular terzina, but let's go on. questo non è vero, però è da vedere dell'altro, e se gli avviene che l'altro cassi falsificato fia lo tuo parere. I want to prove to you that your vision of heaven needs some clarifications here. I'm going to show you, and put you on the right path. Well, she's the guide, no? Sceglie che questo raro non trapassi, esser conviene un termine da onde lo suo contrario più passar non lassi. E india l'altrui raggio si rifonde, così come color torna per vetro, lo qual di retro a sé piombo nasconde. Again, see how difficult it is. She's making particular reference to the way paradise works. It says, scegli che questo raro non trapassi, so this light that comes through, this ignorance, if you like, from the point of view of us humans. That's what happens. But there's a greater truth behind all this. The greater truth you will find in your faith. So she says, and you can see it here in these 8 spheres that we're going to go through. Or dirai che tu che si dimostra tetro, ivi lo raggio più che in altre parti, per essere lì refratto più al retro. Refratto più al retro, the light on a prism of glass, let's say. You get different a different type of light wherever you're looking. Da questa istanza può deliberarti esperienza. So this is the experience that you're gonna get from journeying through paradise. Se già mai la provi, if you're already getting it. Che se suo fonde ai rivi di vostrati. So this is the fountain of your inspiration. That's what it is. Your inspiration depends on your understanding of these new concepts. They are new concepts because as the journey continues, there will be discussions about the variety of good deeds that can be experienced on earth. And some people experience a greater degree of them than others. So da questa istanza può deliberarti esperienza se giammai la provi. If you find che essere suo fonte, it's the fountain, ai rivi dimostrarti of your heart. 3 specchi prenderai e i 2 rimuovi da te d'un modo e l'altro più rimosso. So there are 3 specchi, mirrors. E i 2 rimuovi, and you take 2 away, and the other, I think there could be, reference to God and the Trinity. There you are. L'altro più rimosso, trambo li primi gli occhi tuoi ritrovi. So in other words, you by believing, let's say, in the Trinity, what you are doing is that you see God as one, even though there are 3. There's God, il Padre, il Figlio, e lo Spirito Santo, no? And his mind is always on this. How does Christianity help us? Because after all, this is the basis of the living of humans in the Middle Ages. Christianity was everything to them. And the fact that there were other religions, they didn't see the other religions as being in any way superior. No way known. The only ones is the ones who believed in the Father, the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost. The Spirit, if you like, that comes from this belief. rivolto ad essi, fa che dopo il dosso ti stea un lume, che i 3 specchi accende e torni a te da tutti ripercosso. So, make sure that these 3 specchi, I think, look, I haven't read this before. I'm just interpreting for the first time. I could be wrong, but I think I'm sort of managing now. I can start to understand what he's talking about. Ben che nel quanto tanto non si stenda la vista più lontana, li vedrai come convien che ugualmente risplenda. So you will see the souls here, ben che nel quanto tanto non si stenda la vista più lontana. So you saw it going further out, okay? Che ugualmente risplenda, they light up in the same way, in a way, because they have received the acceptance in God's paradise. The souls that you will see. Or come ai colpi dei caldi rai della neve riman nudo il soggetto, e dal colore e dal freddo primai, così rimaso te nell'intelletto, voglio informar di luce sì vivace, che ti tremolerà nel suo aspetto. So, you know, if you experience una nevicata, you know, that's what Beatrice is saying. He said, it's like your state of mind is a state of mind like when the snow covers the real truth of what's underneath, of your beliefs. You don't have all the tools with you. But as we move up in each sphere, the snow will thaw out, and you'll be able to see the various, the variety of situations that will lead to God's world, to paradise. Sì, dal colore e dal freddo primai, così rimaso te nell'intelletto, voglio informar di luce, si vivace. So I want to give you this light that you can take back with you. Because let's not forget, she knows that Dante has to go back home to earth, and he's the messenger, an important one. Così rimasto te nell'indetto, voglio informare di luce che ti tremolerà nel suo aspetto. It'll make you aware of what is required. Dentro dal cielo della divina pace si gira un corpo nella cui virtute l'esser di tutto suo contento giace. So dentro dal cielo, nella divina pace, in the divine peace, there is only one body, okay? In whose virtue, in other words, a reference to God. And everything that exists because of Him. Lo cielo seguente che ha tante vedute, quell'esser parte per diverse essenze, da lui distratte e da lui contenute. So he's the one who has all this variety, both on earth and within the universe as a whole. It's all in the design, in his own power. Lì altri giron per varie differenze, la distinzione che dentro da sé hanno dispongono a lor fini e lor semenze. So lì altri giron, so as we move giron, the spheres, there'll be a variety of differences che hanno dispongono, and they will sort of be allineated one after the other, a lor fini e lor semenze. So in other words, depending on what they did with what they had. Us, we decide. What happens in our life is unique. And therefore, God in his wisdom will give them the peace, the eternal peace that each soul deserves. Questi organi del mondo così vanno, come tu vedi ormai, di grado in grado, che di su prendono e di sotto fanno. Di su prendono e di sotto fanno. They do. So in other words, that's what happens. Riguarda bene ormai che siccome io vado per questo loco al ver che desiri, sicché poi sappi sol tenerlo guardo. So, I'm starting to understand here. Riguarda bene, look around you ormai, so as I'm moving up from this place here, and we go from one sphere to the other, because you got to remember this when you get back. E poi sappi sol tenerlo guardo. You have to know where you've been and how you're going to explain it. Well, has he done a good job, Dante? He's making it very difficult for me and also for you. Lo moto e la virtù di santi giri, come dal fabbro l'arte del martello, da beati motor convien che spiri. He says, look at this. He says, lo moto e la virtù, the movement of and the virtue dei santi giri, of these spheres, come dal fabbro, you got to fabbro ferraio, l'arte del martello, they know what to do. E il ciel cui tanti lumi fanno bello, della mente profonda che lui volve, prende l'immagine e fassene suggello. So, è l'ottavo cielo che tante stelle fisse rendono belle. So in other words, you're talking about the various spheres. So the 8 of them, you remember? La Luna first, Mercurio 2, Venere number 3, the Sun number 4, Marte number 5, Giove number 6, Saturno number 7, and then there is l'ottavo, the top part. That's where closer to God. The closer you get to God, the spirit, and Beatrice too gets towards towards the top, and then she sort of bids Dante will be on his own. And when he thinks he's got everything, he gets sent back to earth. È il cielo cui tanti lumi fanno bello, della mente profonda che lui volve, prende l'immagine e fassene suggello. E come l'alma dentro a vostro polve per differenti membra e conformate a diverse potenze si risolve, così l'intelligenza sua bontate moltiplicata per le stelle spiega, girando sé sovra sua unitate. So with all these differences, in all these things here, above everything else, don't forget, this is a united world of God. The diversities are part of God's vision for us. Don't you forget that. E come l'alma dentro a vostro pollo per differenti membri e confermate a diverse potenze si risolve. The language is a bit difficult, but I tell you what, once you get into it, you can actually start seeing it quite clearly. You don't need all these other people, but when you study, then other people tell you, oh, this is the way it is, and this is the way. Well, you read the original and try to get. I'm sure when I read it the second time around, this will become a lot more clear to me. Because, when you read a book the first time, it's always new, but really you get the most out of any book when you read it a second and a third time. And more. Virtù diversa lega col prezioso corpo che ella avviva, nel qual, siccome vita in voi si lega, virtù diversa. So we have different virtues, and this different si lega col prezioso corpo, body is precious, and this virtue, this soul, si attacca al corpo. Per la natura lieta onde deriva la virtù mista, per lo corpo luce come letizia per pupilla viva. La virtù mista per lo corpo luce. Da essa viene ciò che da luce è luce, par differente, ma da denso e raro, essa è formal principio che produce, conforme a sua bontà, lo turbo e il chiaro. Welcome to Antonio Dance. And I'll just explain that I'm in Paradiso at the moment, in the second canto of Paradiso. That's why there's the bay leaf here, a wreath, a crown of that knowledgeable people deserve to have. And when they get to Paradiso, you know, in the various Dante associations, they always wear one of these crowns. Of course, I found one in my warehouse, and I used it, basically. And because I identify with each one of what I do, I give a different hat or a different, you need something to do a theatrical bit. So, don't think that, don't think bad of me. But anyway, the thing is, the reality is that we are in Paradiso, and Paradiso terrestre is one thing, but then Paradiso in God's world is another. And we have to know how to navigate towards it with our good deeds. For, as we've seen in Inferno, we get punished according to whatever we've done wrong without God's grace. In Purgatorio, whatever we've done wrong, but with God's grace, and there's an act of redemption in Purgatorio, and finally in Paradiso, you get rewarded, but to a different extent, depending on what you've done. Basically, I think that's the message. And now, as we move through the various circles around the earth, this is Dante's vision, we will meet different souls that Dante will meet. And Beatrice will say, this is it, you can talk to them, you can find out what you want. For example, the next one, number 3, I look forward to, because I had a quick look, and apparently there are a couple of women from Florence that deserved to, deserved to be in paradise on the moon, the lower end of the moon, but still in God's paradise. It's like we live in Melbourne. You can live in the middle of the city, you can live in the suburbs around it, and then you can move outside altogether. But we all still live in Melbourne. But it's such a great difference between whether you live in the centre of the city or outside on the periphery of Melbourne. Big difference. Yet we are happy from where we are. I'm happy here in Brunswick. You are happy there in Mill Park. Someone else is happy there at near the Yarra, in the centre. As long as you're happy, that's the thing. As long as your belief is a sane one, it's a healthy one, then you deserve to get what you get. I think that's the end of this one. I'm not sure about the time, but yeah, 5:16, that's not bad. Now I'm going to read the poems relating to Italian literature. I said that I would finish off with Canto 2, and then I'll go to I'll go to the poems Italian literature, and I'm doing today Giosuè Carducci. There are two poems that is very famous for. One is called I have to look it up. Okay, here I had it before, but one is called San Martino, and the other one is called, what did I say? And Pianto Antico. So I have to look up Pianto Antico. Poem. Yeah? Google. Here we are. That's how we do it. You can look it up with me. Marita Gibb, welcome. Pianto Antico. I've just finished Canto 2 of Paradiso, and today I'm going to be of a cold. Never mind, but I wanted to soldier on. I wanted to do it because the last time I did Canto 1 was in June, 29th of June. But I will catch up, and I will do, the counting more often now, so that I can get to the end of my journey with Dante's great work, La Divina Commedia. Here we go. This is, of course, Giosuè Carducci, a famous Italian poet of the 19th century, going on to the 20th. And this one says, Pianto Antico, his young son died. The young son was 3 years old. L'albero a cui tendevi la pargoletta mano, il verde melograno dai bei vermigli fior. Nel muto orto solingo rinverdì tutto ora e giugno lo ristora di luce e di calor. Tu, fior della mia pianta, percossa e inaridita, tu dell'inutil vita, estremo unico fior. Sei nella terra fredda, sei nella terra negra, né il sol più ti rallegra, né ti risveglia amor. His son can't come back. His son cannot come back. That's what happens. Pianto Antico. The actual, I'm looking at from my other phone, and now we're going to do San Martino. San Martino poem. By Giosuè Carducci, and here we are, San Martino. And this poem here is about the end of autumn, when people make wine in Italy, around, in November in Italy, so it would be around this time too, a bit earlier, but this is, you have to study these things well in order to appreciate their beauty. La nebbia agli irti colli, piovviginando sale, e sotto il maestrale urla e biancheggia il mar. Ma per le vie del borgo, dal ribollir dei tini, va l'aspro odor dei vini, l'anime a rallegrar. Gira su ceppi accesi, lo spiedo scoppiettando, sta il cacciator fischiando sull'uscio a rimirar. Tra le rossastre nubi, stormi d'uccelli neri, come esuli pensieri nel vespero migrar. Now I've got the translation here. I might as well read it for you. The fog to the steep hills amid the rain ascends, and under the mistral the sea screams and whitens. But through the alleys of the village, from the bubbling vats goes the sour smell of wine, the souls to rejoice. Turns on burning logs, the spit sputtering, stands the hunter whistling on the door to gaze. Among the reddish clouds, flocks of blackbirds, as exiled thoughts in the twilight migrating. So the hunter is sort of leaning against the door and looks at the at the flock of birds migrating towards the south in Italy. So that's Carducci for you today, and I'll continue now with my own. Last week I did I Passeri. We're still in, this one here is called, I'll just read the Italian, Il vento e la solitudine. Il vento soffia senza pietà contro il davanzale della mia stanza. Una folata con la sua passione violenta toneggia fuori nella strada e scuote le foglie del mio limone. La natura nella sua totalità non reagisce, ma tutti i suoi rami tremano dal freddo, si scuotono ed hanno paura delle frecciate di vento. La solitudine tremante come una foglia si arrampica nella ossa di questo corpo umano, ma la solitudine è soltanto uno stato della mente, e la mente, come una quercia gigantesca, si sovrappone al debole corpo umano che muove la sua carne quando il vento della natura decide di muoversi in giro in folata. Il vento e la solitudine. Now that was page 86. I'll read it to you in English as well. I think I wrote this originally in English. The wind blows mercilessly against the window panes of my room. A gust with its violent passion thunders outside in the street and shakes the leaves of my lemon tree. Nature in its totality is unmoved, but all its limbs shake with cold. They tremble and fear the gutsy wind. Solitude, shaking like a leaf, creeps through the bones of this human body, but solitude is only a state of mind, and the mind, like a gigantic oak tree, overpowers the feeble human body that shakes its flesh when nature's wind cares moving about for a blow. So when the wind comes, you can't be alone. You got company from our friend the wind. Yeah? Beautiful songs too about that. So that's it for today, for my poetry and the literature part. Just a little bit of literature just to remind. I'm going to go through the various centuries as I get more and more into this. Now, I have here, I have to confess, I've got three more. I've got three more songs to give you. So let me see. Let's see if, yes, it's here. I love this. When things work, there's nothing better. I get such satisfaction, honestly. And this one here, now we are, as I said, I didn't record that. But anyway, we'll try. Okay, here we go. Here we go. There we are. Yeah, we'll start from, we'll start from here. That's the first one. Well, today, what's today date? The 15th, isn't it? The date is the 15th of June. Yes, 2023. Yes, another afternoon here with these two lovely people, Dora and Rino, and we're doing, what are we doing today? We're doing, we're doing Choral Improviso number 11, the second 6 songs, and again, we follow the patterns of 3 songs Napoletane and 3 songs dedicated to Frank Sinatra. So, Choral Improviso program 11, very interesting. Yeah, put it in. Napoletano and Frank Sinatra. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Okay, let's go start now with the following year. Mare Chiaro, it's a challenge, of course. Of course it is, yeah. So this Mare Chiaro here. Dora, Rino, Mare Chiaro. Mare Chiaro, yeah. l'amore. Se rivolge nell'onde della mare, la piazza cambia nel colore, quando sfonda la luna al mariciare. A mariciare, e sta la finestra, la passione mia sempre sveglia. La festa passerà per sorte in borbolea, a maricare ci sta la sti due stelle risacci solamente in danno le tenga le porte. Chi dice che le stelle sono lucente, scelta di Carolina, che l'aria è dolce, quando mai quando ti è mai aspettato, per accompagnare il suono una voce, stasera una chitarra già portato, scelta di Carolina, che l'aria è dolce. Wow, I think Rena wasn't happy with the ending. Never mind, it's okay. I wanted to say something about this. It's all right, because at the end of the day, we are introducing lyrics to songs, and it's important for people to actually, try it themselves. Try it. Try to sing Maricano. See how difficult it really is. But singing. But when you got the big bands, etc., very different. Here we go again. The next one, Città e Policinella. But before that, we'll show you some of the pictures of the mandolino. Here we go. From Maricano to Città e Policinella, and then we'll finish with a very, very famous song. But for the moment, Città e Policinella. Okay, let's go. Città e Policinella, Dora.
T'accompagna vita questa volta per quartiere, addosso non si vede, ma si vede tutto l'est, e sarà con le finestre, e capisce com'è bella la città Policinella, com'è bella, la città Policinella, com'è bella, la città Policinella. Mi dispiace solamente che l'orgoglio è che sta gente si mortifica ogni giorno per la manica effettivamente, che non tiene coscienza e non tiene rispetto, come fa la pina suona quando la sera d'indoglietta, quando la sera d'indoglietta, quando la sera d'indoglietta. o ti porta a Margellina, sempre che non tiene fretta, verso le 5 da mattina, quando traffico permette, che permesse tutte cose, non perché ti non diritto, ma perché sei sempre fatta, e soltanto per dispetto, per dispetto, per dispetto, e soltanto per dispetto, per dispetto, per dispetto, e soltanto per dispetto. Mi dispiace solamente che la voglia e questa gente si mortifica ogni giorno e non ci mettiamo a scuola e nessuno può fare niente per cercare una caramella come dolce e come bella la città è Pulcinella, come dolce, come bella la città è Pulcinella, come dolce, come bella la città è Pulcinella. Io che sono un musicante e mi sento fortunato, quando sono cante, che sto bella serenata, e perché sono innamorato, perché forse sono nata, ma lo dite com'è bella, la città è Pulcinella, la città è Pulcinella, com'è bella, la città è Pulcinella, com'è bella, la città è Pulcinella, com'è bella, la città è Pulcinella.
Wow, that was A città è Policinella. I'm going to go back here. I just want to explain that we're going to do the last one is an interesting one because we're going to do it a couple of times. It's a famous one. It's O Sole Mio. Here we go. Let's have a look. There you are. Mandolino e tamburello.
This next song, Dora wants to go. She's keen to go because this song here is O Sole Mio.
It's very popular.
It's a quintessential Neapolitan song, and here we celebrated 100 years in 1998 with a big concert regarding O Sole Mio. And I remember because I translated the actual song as well.
Yeah.
But today we are here, and maybe I should really remember because he passed away recently. Il Conte, Fausto Terlizzi. He was responsible. He was responsible for O Sole Mio, and I have a video of that particular. Of that particular event. It's a beautiful video too. Okay, we're going to sing it today. O Sole Mio, our way. Okay.
Yeah, our way. Yeah. Go.
Our way. Let's go.
Dora, O Sole Mio.
Che bella cosa, la giornata sole, l'aria serena, dopo nato in festa, per l'aria fresca, paraggiana festa, che bella cosa.
E per la mente nostra scatoia. Ma sola, più bella, oh solo io, stai pronta a te, oh solo io, stai pronta a te. Stand from Dante.
Now, Rena wasn't happy with that. We had to do it a second time because he said, "Oh, we didn't do the finish properly," and blah blah blah. We did, and I'm a bit over time now, 5:38. I wonder whether I should. And then there's also something else. I might leave it at that, yeah, I'll do it in another program. I'll do the second half and some of the Frank Sinatra songs as well. So I'll leave it till next week or next time that I come on. Okay. Well, thank you very much to Marita Gibb, Antonio Danzi, and Frank Mazzacca for coming on. It's great for you to, for me to see a few people. I don't announce it when I'm on, so if you're on and you see me and you want to keep me company, it's fantastic. Okay. By the way, the first canto, I think it's got something like 150 people have come on to have a look at it. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll see you next time. This is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. Ciao.